My name's Connor Mayer. I am a new assistant professor in the Department of Language Science at UCI. I did my undergrad in linguistics and computer science at the University of British Columbia in Canada, and I did my master's and Ph.D. in linguistics at UCLA. And I just graduated from UCLA this year, and I'm starting my position at UCI in the coming quarter. So the work that I do, the research that I do is on human language and specifically on the sound systems of human language. So the physical movements that people use to produce speech and the kinds of rules that govern how sounds can be combined in a particular language. And like a lot of people in linguistics, I'm specifically interested in learning. And so one of the kind of fundamental mysteries of human language is that you can take an infant and have them be exposed to languages spoken by the people around them, and miraculously they're able to learn this language and become sort of equal speakers without any explicit instruction or correction. And you can sort of think of this using an analogy as watching a sport that you've never seen played before and trying to figure out the rules that are sort of governing the sport. And you can imagine if you're watching cricket and even you don't know how cricket works, it's very difficult to kind of understand what's going on, even if you watch hours and hours of it. And despite how challenging this is for human language, infants are surprisingly adept and consistent at sort of uncovering the same types of processes that sort of govern what you can say in a particular language. And so we're interested in learning about how that learning process works, and a lot of the work that I do uses this approach that kind of combines experimental work with computational modeling. So we run experiments either kind of in the wild, or we bring people into the lab to understand sort of what they know about their language and how they generalize to new cases. And we also build computational models that maybe encode certain assumptions or theories that we have about how language learning takes place. And then what we can do is compare the behavior of these computational models, the kinds of generalizations they make and predictions they make against observations we've made against actual humans. And based on those discrepancies, we can update our computational models and do subsequent experimentation. And this sort of back and forth between formal modeling and experimental work is really helpful for us to get a better idea of how humans learn and represent their language. I decided to come to UCI in a large part because of the language science department. It's a relatively new department and a relatively small department, but everybody in it is just incredible. Like they're great researchers and great people. And I was particularly excited by the opportunity to sort of bring my own background and expertise and make a really meaningful contribution to the department in this early stage. So I think there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of potential, and I'm really excited to see how that goes over the next few years. In terms of what I'd like students and colleagues to know about me, I really enjoy collaborating with other researchers, whether that be students or faculty, and I'm really interested in hearing about people's research and advising on it, and if it seems appropriate, engaging in a more sort of formal mentorship relationship. So I'm very happy to talk about anything you're interested in. I also have background in both academics and in private industry. I worked as a software developer for about 4 years, so I have some insight into sort of what life is like as an academic and what life is like if you take your degree in language science and use that to do some kind of a job like a programmer in private industry. And so I'm really happy to talk about sort of the differences in work-life balance and what to expect in each of those career paths, and advise students who are maybe a little bit uncertain about which direction they want to take. In terms of other pertinent information about me, I really enjoy running and cycling, so I'm excited to be at UCI with all the lovely trails and bike paths around. And I am a musician. I've played in various sort of rock bands for the past 20 years, so I really like watching live music and playing live music, and I'd love to talk about music if anyone is interested.